Excellent, great. Well, thank you very much, Ray. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today. What I'm going to do is spend the next 15 or so minutes sharing with you our thought leadership around video. I'm going to share with you and really talk about the massive opportunity that we all have in the industry around using video in this new connected world. I'm going to take you through a journey describing the importance of creating deeper insights in this sort of changing world as the consumer's changing, the opportunity and the value that video brings in that process, the challenges and how to overcome those challenges, and I'll share some real-life client examples with you as well. But just as a way to introduce LivingLens, for those of you that don't know us, probably the best way to think about us as a business is, if you asked Google, who is the Google for video, people may say YouTube. Well, the fact is actually YouTube doesn't actually allow you to search the video content. It doesn't allow you to get to direct nuggets of information out of the video content. It doesn't allow you to analyze that video content. So in actual fact, the simple way to think about LivingLens is we break down all the video and we allow you to search it, analyze it, and get value out of it. So we turn video into value. We allow people to seamlessly capture video, analyze it. We're working with clients such as Unilever and Ipsos in making that a reality. But probably about us, let's get into the meat of the presentation, which is really our thinking around video. So as many of you know, and we've heard about this a lot already, it's never been as more important today to understand this sort of changing world. The consumer, the shopper, the customer, the patient, everybody has different needs and wants. As individuals, we all want more immediate information. We expect the service to be better. We want personalized service. We want tailored offers. We want to not only, buy a brand, we want to connect with that brand, and we want a brand to treat us as an individual. The way in which we all shop has changed. Smartphone take-up has really driven that. And when we are making purchase decisions, we are much more informed than we ever have been. We all want more value. I love the quote from Nielsen, which I think really sums this up, which is, digital is really redefining what it means to go shopping in this new connected commerce era. So, with that, and I think we've heard a lot about that already in terms of, how brands are going about trying to search for these new ways to understand the consumer, to create those new insights, to understand the changes that they need to make to drive growth. Whether that to be support innovation, gain instant feedback from product tests, understand the consumer, the shopper, the customer segments, the path to purchase, the list on. Linking back to what John said earlier, how do we make the brand more famous? How do we increase that feeling? All of those things are really, really important, and we need to do that at pace because the world is changing so fast, as we saw, I think, in terms of the Indian piece of research that was done. And we need, linking that to that as well, we need to do that on a global basis so organizations can leverage their global scale but also understand those local markets. So it's really about helping people understand this new consumer in this new connected world. And from an agency point of view, it's all about how do we utilize all of these different methodologies, sources of information and insights to support the brands. Now, we will use as an industry many different traditional and new methods of creating these insights, whether it be POS, loyalty, ethno studies, credit cards, habit and attitudes, web surveys, behavioral sciences, all about leveraging all of these different sources of data and big data sources, including social. Now, what I've done in the industry is I've spent the last 20 years actually working on many of these different sources to try and help to drive these insights. But what it's always really missed for me is that sort of real individual personal connection where you can really see and hear the consumer talking about a brand, a product, a service they've been given. But where we are using video in research, we're typically using it just maybe in the final report, or we're using it to add a little bit of context or color. We're not really using video on scale. We're not using it as a typical source of data. Therefore, actually, as an industry, we have particularly with the advent of mobile and smartphone penetration, a massive opportunity to use video as a valuable source of data, not just as context. So we believe that in this mobile and smartphone, the ability for users to generate their own content is a winning combination in this new connected world. And what I'm going to do is just walk you through a few key reasons of why we see that. Firstly, consumers are much more comfortable with video in themselves. If you look at the latest stats around smartphone penetration, there's going to be, it will surpass, I think it's about 2 billion smartphones by next year. So the other astonishing factor, if you look at the segment of the millennials in this example, 50% of millennials will take a photo or a video at least once a day. Seeing this across the board where people, because they are being used to seeing video themselves through content marketing, they're much more comfortable with using video as a method for sharing their thoughts. And this is really backed up by all the other stats that we're seeing. So, Cisco predict by 2017, nearly 70% of all consumer internet traffic will be video, which is just an amazing fact. Social is also, leading the charge. So as I said about smartphone usage and the way people are using mobile to connect to social, and the way that brands are connecting. Facebook state that in 4 years' time they believe that it will be pretty much all video. So there's a great opportunity. And some other facts around how business executives are now using more videos, whether it be in terms of decision making. From a business perspective, 75% of executives now use video at least once a week in their business life. So why do we think this is a massive opportunity for us as an industry? Well, there's the key reasons are on this chart. So it's about being real. It's about capturing the thoughts, the feelings, the reactions. It's giving us the much deeper insight. It's capturing what people say and how they say it, their facial expressions, their body tone, their language. It's more important just to understand the spoken word, but you can actually get right behind that in terms of the meaning of the spoken word. Video actually can be fast. It's allowing you can capture it instantly and share it with colleagues and clients and stakeholders. So you're actually being able to meet your customer in your own office. So you can see at first hand the reactions and the opinions, and then you can share those in a much more memorable and engaging way. And it's so much more it's enjoyable and engaging for the audience. Now, the stat that I really love, I think, is if a picture paints 1,000 words, actually 1 minute of video paints 1.8 million words. And that's from Forrester Research. And if you had to write the equivalent of 1.8 million words, it would actually take you 150 days. That is the ultimate power of what video can mean in terms of research and storytelling in the industry. However, it has been an impossible data asset to work with. As I said before, there is no easy way to find content in video to analyze that content. Video is coming from many different sources of insights. So from surveys, qualitative research, social, etc., etc. It's coming in many different languages. It typically sits on somebody's desktop or laptop. It's not shared effectively, and it has no lasting value. All of the value is locked away inside of that video content, and it becomes impossible to use it effectively. So imagine the moment where if you had the power to unlock all of its value, to capture video content and leverage those consumer, shopper, customer insights any point in time, anywhere in the world, understand what people say and do, and go deeper than just the pure sort of survey, to really understand in essence how you could transform your organization or your clients' organizations so they can really see and hear what the consumer's doing, and putting that consumer at the heart of decision making to really help to inform the strategies and the research that's been put in place. So imagine if you could then turn all of that into a quantifiable data source and do it anywhere in the world. So now there is a way. With the introduction of new technologies, we can actually break down all of these issues and unlock video once and for all. So it's now possible to seamlessly capture video content in many different ways, obviously through apps or through simply embedding video video questions in existing surveys, through desktops, through some of the more traditional methods that is already being done, and to capture that content in any different place anywhere in the world, and then to seamlessly transport all of that video content into data mining technologies, where the video content can be analyzed like any other source of data. The ability for you to slice and dice video and make video searchable in many different ways. So if you think of a video as having a mass of data, both in terms of audio and visual, it's now possible to be able to in a very fast way, to search it, to measure it, to analyze it, to codify it, all in one place, from huge volumes of content across many different types of use cases from a research point of view, whether that be quantitative studies, habits and attitudes, focus groups, one-to-one interviews, actually embedding video and quantitative research for many different purposes, so product testing, consumer experience, the list goes on. At the end, it's all about using content to drive insights, creating the stories, and creating the stories that create the action. So it's all about video for action. And it's not just about what's being said, it's about extracting all the other elements of the video. So it's understanding the patterns, the trends in video, understanding the activity, so activity-based search, the sentiment, how people are feeling, the facial recognition. So you can start to build up a picture of the consumer. As I said, all about focusing video into a quantifiable data asset in its own right. So let me take you through a couple of quick examples of how this is being utilized. So the first one is for a global CPG. Now what we're doing there is taking video content from all around the world, many different sources. What they wanted to do is really bring the consumer, how those consumers were cooking in their kitchens in the local markets, back to the central brand and marketing teams to really bring the consumer to life, and how those consumers were using different types of ingredients when they're cooking. This was really helping them formulate new innovation, packaging design, consumer messaging, recipes, product innovation, all ultimately about them helping to drive sales in those local markets by better understanding the consumer and their interaction with different products during cooking. So in essence, it's about simply bringing all that together into a single place and breaking down all language barriers as well. The second example I just want to share with you is we'll be working with a large research agency. And this is about putting video-based research for product testing purposes. So traditionally, a lot of product testing has just been done simple survey-based, and this is turning it into video. So this is about giving you the ability to actually see and hear the interactions that a consumer has with your new product. So this is about really understanding their immediate reaction to it, to testing the product, to opening the packaging, the issues with that, all feeding back into the innovation process. All about making the likelihood of that product success much greater when it actually hits the shelves. So, in summary, what I've done in the last sort of 10 minutes or so is taking you through that story of what we see video is in terms of being able to utilize video in this new connected world, where we're trying to drive new and fresh insights. We think it's a massive opportunity. We see video as having a value in its own right. We think it's been very difficult to manage as a data asset, but now it's possible. So we're helping clients leverage that process and really allowing people to drive insights at speed. So it's all about doing things really, really fast, understanding the issues that we're trying to overcome, and taking action. So it's all about video for action. With that, I want to just thank, obviously if anybody wants to know any more about LivingLens, then please just get in contact. And now I'll pass back to Ray for any questions.